Welcome back to VYPE TV. As we mentioned, there are a few more games to be played today, and here are some of the biggest. Starting at noon at Ford Stadium on the SMU campus, Lake Highlands taking on South Arlington. The Hutto Hippos are in town, taking on Mesquite Poteet. At 2 o'clock, Arlington Bowie playing against Midland High. That Rowlett Jesuit game is at 6 o'clock at SMU. Denton Ryan takes on Amarillo Palo Duro tonight. And DeSoto versus Bryan, another one of the key first-round matchups. You know, coaches find inspiration from different and sometimes unlikely places. Anna Coulter is a coach and teacher at Fannin Middle School in Grand Prairie. Her inspiration has changed her coaching style and her life, as we learn in this week's FCA Spotlight. As a kid, Anna had a lot of energy.
I'm a competitive person, and sports was one way that I got to live that competitiveness out.
As an adult, Anna realized she had a talent to help others.
If I got into coaching, I just found like I had this ability to be able to break it down for the kids to where they understood it in kid terminology and to be able to relate it to something that they could understand.
Being a teacher for 13 years, Anna noticed her students needed her help off the field too.
Here at Fannin Middle School, we're a Title I campus, which means that over 70% of our kids are low economic, in poverty, at-risk students. And so many of the students, they're looking for something positive. They need hope in their life. These kids, throughout the years I've been here, they've been through and seen things that kids should not have to go through and see. And they're just really looking for some kind of hope, something positive, something that they can be a part of that's going to, you know, be something great in their life and help them achieve greatness.
So Anna's coaching focus began to change. Now winning is just part of her mission.
Being an athlete isn't just about the skills and the X's and O's. That to be the complete package, they have to be a person of character, a leader. And
Anna found guidance from an FCA program called Huddle Coach. For 9 years, she has volunteered her time to mentor and inspire her student athletes. And she draws inspiration from watching them learn and grow. And on Monday night, Anna will receive the Female Huddle Coach of the Year Award from FCA Dallas. Congratulations, the honor is well deserved. And by the way, the guest speaker at the awards ceremony is one of college football's greatest coaches, Florida State's Bobby Bowden. We're getting an exclusive interview with him while he's in town. You'll get to see it on next week's show. Coming up a little later, we'll tell you how you can get tickets to the Landry Awards ceremony honoring the best high school football players in North Texas. But next, we'll introduce you to a North Texas family where winning is as important as quality family time. That and more when VYPE TV continues. Well, what do you do when you've achieved your major league dreams? Well, for a North Texas father, it meant more time for family. Meet the Perlmans in this week's Family Affair.
I grew up in East Texas, Carthage, Texas, and played football, basketball, and baseball. And I walked on at Baylor and baseball, and fortunate made the team, hung on, and got there at the right time. Got to go to 2 College World Series with Baylor. Had a pretty good senior year. Got drafted in the first round by the Cubs. I played 10 years. Played through the '80s. A lot of minor league time. Got a little time in the big leagues with the Cubs, Giants, and Indians. Well, Holt's a senior and just having a good year. I'm really proud of him. He's worked hard.
My dad's pretty much coached every team that I've ever been on, besides high school sports, baseball, football, basketball, all of them. He's a kid that enjoys learning, and he listens to me. He obviously knew a lot about baseball and about sports in general. You know, being around it so long, and that really helped me, you know, translate onto the field. I think there's so many life lessons to learn in sports, and it creates so much character and self-discipline. When you have a coach as a dad, you know, you get the bad end of the things a lot, but it's been a blessing because I've learned a lot from him. Our family loves sports, and we love to play and love to watch it. And I'm a competitive guy myself, so you know, it's just another form of competition, and teaching these kids to
to work hard and set longer-term goals and stick with something. And to me, that's what's going to pay off later in life when you're working for a living. But it's just been a great thrill. We've had some fun teams. We've had teams with other teammates on our football and baseball teams. And so I've gotten to know all these kids and really enjoyed it.
And now time for our recruiting update. And with that, we welcome in David McNabb, VYPE recruiting expert, author of the weekly McNabb Report. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
And you're familiar with the Perlman family there?
Perlman families. I've known Holt and the older son Jonathan since they were in the Park Cities YMCA. My son Max played against them in that league. And, they're just part of the great network. I've, been at practices with Scott Smith hitting ground balls to his kids. Jeff Jordan coaches, the Garland coaches his girls' softball teams in Garland. I mean, it's really great part of knowing area sports, knowing all those stories.
And of course, David McNabb knows about recruiting in this area and beyond. And as we get you set for SEC football here on TXA 21, it's great that we're talking about the SEC schools who are making an impact this year in North Texas. Let's start with those Arkansas Razorbacks.
They've made a concerted effort with the game against A&M, of course. They've gotten a commitment from Chris Barnett, the Hurst Bell tight end, who at first had committed to Oklahoma. He's a big-time player. The SEC, of course, has the luxury. They come in and cherry pick. They come in after specific players who, for whatever reason, have shown an interest in an SEC school. And one of the guys that they're really in on is the Skyline linebacker, Anthony Wallace, who may be the biggest uncommitted player that's still left out there. He's looking at USC, Oklahoma, some Ohio State, some big schools, but Arkansas probably has the best chance of getting Anthony Wallace.
Yep, there's a guy that at Arlington Heights, a wide receiver, Marquise Jackson, who has made some noise this season, and I know the recruiters have noticed what he's done at Arlington Heights this year.
Yeah, when you keep seeing Arlington Heights winning and they're doing well, you kind of go, boy, they sure are hanging in there well. Well, it's because they have kids like Marquise every once in a while, and he's a big-time player. I mean, Texas came down to the wire, whether to offer him, not to offer him. He's a kid that as the recruiting kind of shifts out of, well, we didn't get this receiver, we need one more receiver. I mean, he's not on B list. I mean, he's kind of like on everybody's little A list, and it'll be real interesting where he ends up, and the SEC schools are really watching him. All
right, here on TXA 21 at the top of the hour, we've got Kentucky versus Vanderbilt. And Kentucky they've been making some inroads in North Texas, and looks like they've got a pretty good player from North Texas this year.
Yeah, in fact, he was a big part in the game last night for Denton Guyer, Blake Terry, and again, he's almost the kind of kid that he's not super well known like J.W. Walsh, who's a quarterback, but Blake's the kind of athlete that they get a defensive end hurt, and then they move him to linebacker to play a team Marcus, which runs the ball. I mean, and those are the kind of athletes that the SEC gets out of here, that all of a sudden you're watching the game on TV and you go, Greg McElroy, he went to South Lake Carroll, and Florida gets this kid, or Tennessee comes in and gets a kid. It's not like dozens of them, but the ones they do get are really good.
And LSU, of course, with its proximity to the state of Texas, has been known to cherry pick some players out of Texas, a lot of them from South Texas and the Houston area, but LSU making some inroads in North Texas.
Yeah, LSU does really well with the kids. They've actually got another really good player out of the Houston area. Trevon Randall is a really big-time player, and that has been their strength. But Les Miles has made Dallas, because he has some Dallas ties with the Cowboys, and he knows some of that. And actually, I see Les Miles a lot around here during the summer. His son's really big in youth baseball. So Les plays and sees these athletes with his sons. It's not uncommon to see Les Miles out at a field in Flower Mound. It's not a recruiting violation. He's watching his 14-year-old son play baseball, and then all of a sudden he goes, well, who's that 6'4" kid throwing at 90 miles an hour over there? Where does he go to school? And of course they got Zach Lee last year, and then he ended up signing with the Dodgers. Right. But again, that's the quality of player that the LSU's, they come in and get those huge, usually talented, high-profile guys.
And Hebron defensive back David Jenkins,
and he's going to LSU, and he's another kid that Brian Brazel has been going big time kid, everybody. He's kind of small, but you better get him. He went to a couple camps, and you know, the SEC, you've got to have that speed. And again, he was a kid that, you know, Texas maybe doesn't offer, but then 2 years from now, they kind of go, boy, I wish we would have done that when they see him in the SEC championship game playing cornerback. All right,
David McNabb is here every week on VYPE TV, and you can read the McNabb Report in VYPE magazine. We appreciate it, David. The Landry Award presentation is less than a month away. Coming up next, we'll tell you how you can be a part of history. VYPE TV continues in 2 minutes. Do you have a favorite high school football player in North Texas? Nominate them for the Landry Award by visiting LandryAward.com. You'll have to act soon, though. Nominations will be accepted through next Thursday, November 18th. Soon after, 5 finalists will be selected, and the winner will be announced on Thursday, December 9th. The ceremony will be broadcast live right here on TXA 21. But you don't have to watch it on TV. You can be there and witness this new tradition firsthand. Tickets go on sale starting Monday. Just go to fcadallas.org for details. Thanks for joining us this morning. We'll be back next week at 10:30 a.m. to bring you the best stories in North Texas high school sports. Have a great day.